Hey friends, my name is James Hardy. I'm going to be teaching a Restore Yoga class today. I'm coming at you from 21st Yoga in Salt Lake City, Utah. So the theme of class today is practicing calm. So this is a theme that comes in a lot in life for me because life is constantly shifting, life is constantly changing. We have things that come in and we feel that initial reaction to them. And then we have the ability to take a step back from it and really to practice this idea of calming ourselves. Props you'll need. So grab a pillow. This is a great one to have. And then the other prop that I'm going to use here is just a blanket. And these are both items you'll just find in your house. And then we're going to start at a cross-legged position. I'm going to take the blanket and fold it up a little bit and then place it towards the back of my mat. Take your sit bones onto the blanket, find a cross-legged position. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can just lay down all the way on your back. From the cross-legged position, just pull the flesh away from your sit bones so you're on the front edge of the sit bones. We can bring the full length of the spine up in space, and we're just going to start with some shoulder rolls here. So bring your hands down to your thighs, and on an inhale, lift your shoulder heads high up towards your ears, lengthening the spine. And as you exhale, roll your shoulders down away from the ears and the back. We'll take that a couple times. So inhaling to draw your shoulder heads up high in space, breathing in. Exhale, roll down away from the ears and the back. Okay, last one. Inhale, shoulder heads high. Exhale, release your shoulders down away from the ears and the back. Close your eyes from here. Relax your arms, and then we'll do a really nice breath warm-up with Dirga Swasam Pranayama, the 3-part breath. Release your air all the way to empty. Breathe into your low belly for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe into your mid-abdomen, 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe all the way to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Hold the full breath and relax. And then exhale for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Breathe in low belly, low back. 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe in mid-abdomen, mid-back. 1, 2, 3, and hold. Fill all the way up to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you've got the full breath, relax. And then on the exhale, release out. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, you're welcome to use any type of breath you want to use for your Restore practice. If Ujjayi breathing is in your practice, we'll release the air all the way to empty. And then begin inhaling deep and slow through the nose, filling from the bottom to the top like you're sipping the air into a straw. And on the exhale, slowly releasing the air out through the nose like you're fogging up a mirror, so engaging the muscles in the back of the throat. One way that you know that you've got the Ujjayi breath down is when you hear the sound of hollow wind or you hear the sound of ocean waves in your head. Perfect, friends. As always, please just take what works for me, leave the rest behind. Blink your eyes open to a soft gaze up front. And then on an inhale, stretch and reach your arms wide and tall. And as you exhale, just draw your hands down into the heart center. Again, inhale, stretch arms wide and tall. Exhale, bring the hands down into the chest. We'll take that one more time. Inhale, reach the arms wide and tall. And on the exhale, just draw your hands down into your chest. Excellent. Just release your legs out in front of you. Give a little roll out through your ankles. If you're up on a prop, on a blanket or a pillow, you might slide it out of the way. And then we're just kind of bending through the knees here, doing that deep breathing, maybe stretching your hands down your legs, just bringing a little blood flow and circulation into the legs after we've been in that folded position. For a seated twist, just leave your right leg extended out in front of you, and then we'll grab the left leg and just gently cradle the leg in towards the body. You can either use your hands or feel free to go closer in with your elbows or even with your forearms. Find that length up through the spine and stay with your breathing. We'll plant the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. You can leave your right leg extended, or if you like, bend the right knee so the heel comes to the outside of your left sit bone. And if this is not in the cards for you, this whole thing, no worries, I want you just to find a cross-legged position. If we've got that left leg up in space, we'll start to either wrap the right arm to the outside of the left leg, or bring the right arm up in space and drop the elbow to the outside of your knee. Left hand goes back behind you, and on an inhale, lengthen your spine up tall in space. As you exhale, just twist your gaze back across your left shoulder. Hold there and breathe. If you're taking this from a cross-legged position, we're just reaching left hand behind us, right hand outside of left leg, and same thing, twisting and breathing. Friends, use the inhales, use the exhales while you're here. The inhale creates space in the body. And on the exhale, we let our body release into that space that we create. And just the act of breathing itself is drawing your mind out of worrying, fixing, solving, changing, and is bringing your mind into the present moment, into the present experience, right here and right now. Coming back to that theme, practicing calm. You can stay right where you're at, or if you'd like to stretch out the left side of your neck, you'll tilt your right ear forward to the right shoulder, lengthening out the left side of your neck. And as you hold the head out to the side, right ear towards right shoulder, you could lift your chin up in space, finding the front left edge of your neck, or let your chin come forward and down, finding the back left edge of your neck. Again, stay with that deep, slow breath. If your head is to the side, on an inhale, just lengthen it back up tall in space. And everyone on your exhale, twist from center and just twist all the way back across that left shoulder, get down to empty. We'll unwind, come back forward, stretch and reach your legs back out in front of you, and just give a roll out through your ankles, give a wiggle through your toes, maybe a bend through the knees. This time, just leave your left leg extended out in front of you, and then grab that right leg and start to cradle again. You could do one hand to knee, one hand to foot, or you can come in closer like I'm doing here with the elbows or with the forearms. It can also feel really nice to get a little bit of length up through your spine while you're here. And then for the seated twist, we could plant the right foot to the outside of the left thigh. Left leg stays extended, or bend your left knee so the heel comes to the outside of your right sit bone. And again, if this isn't in the cards for you, I want you just to find a cross-legged position. If we've got that right knee up in space, start to either wrap your left arm outside of the leg, or reach the arm high, drop elbow outside of the knee. Right hand goes behind you. Inhale, lengthen your spine up tall, breathe into it. And on that exhale, twist from center, take the gaze all the way back across your shoulder. Hold and breathe. And then if you're in that cross-legged position, again, just simply bringing right hand behind you and reaching left hand for outside of right thigh. Same twist going on with the spine. Focus on the length of the inhale, slowly coming in. And let yourself enjoy the exhales, just gently, slowly bringing it all the way down to empty. And typically you'll feel some really nice, subtle movement, subtle release going on in the spine here. maybe stuff you had stored up for a little bit that you're starting to work through. You stay right where you're at, or this time, if you want to stretch out the right side of your neck, just tilt your left ear forward to the left shoulder, lengthening out the right side of your neck. And then we can start to lift the chin up in space as we hold the head to the side, or let the chin come forward and down. And that's just finding the front edge of the right side of your neck and the back edge of the right side of the neck. And just exploring here, using that breath to work through tension. And as we physically work through tension, that's another thing that just brings us back into our theme, physically feeling calm. Your body working into a deeper place of peace. Awesome. If your head is tilted to the side, on an inhale, just lengthen the head up, your gaze into the right wall. And on your exhale, twist from center and send the gaze all the way back across your right shoulder. Get down to empty. And then we're just going to release ourselves back forward to the front of the room. And then same thing with the legs. Just get the legs out in front of you. Give a little bit of that movement, whether it's bending through your knees, reaching your arms down towards your feet, or just giving a roll out through your ankles. Awesome. We'll move from here into Baddha Konasana. This is a bowed ankle pose, or a popular name for it is Cobblers Pose. So the bottoms of the feet come together. The knife edge of the feet are down to the ground. Another moment where you want to take the time to find the front edge of your sit bones, so walk them back. And then from the front edge of your sit bones, we'll just draw the length of the spine up tall. And you've got control too of how close the heels are towards your groin or how far away they are. Take that breath just to lengthen up. And on your exhale, you'll hinge out from your hips and dive your sternum down towards your big toes. Release the weight of the head. Your hands could be to your shins, to your ankles. They could be to your feet like you're reading a book, fingers to the outside, thumbs to the inside. You could wrap them around your toes, or they could be down to the ground. Again, release the weight of the head so the gaze is coming down, crown of the head's going slightly forward. And then you're just breathing here, slightly extending out from the hips. Your elbows could just hang out in space, or you might press the elbows gently to the inside of the legs. Or the elbows might even hook to the front of your shins and gently draw back. Focus on the inhales, focus on the exhales. This is a great gentle hip opener. And of course, as we've been talking about, it's a really nice length and fold for your spine while you're here. So even when we're just holding a pose, and from the outside, it may not look like there's a lot of movement going on. When you're inside of the pose and you're holding and breathing, there's all types of movement going on. It's just on a more subtle level. Let's find those last couple of rounds of breath on this one. For the last round of breath, I want you to draw a deep inhale through your nose, fill up all the way to the top of the breath, and then an audible sigh out the mouth on the exhale. Slowly wind your spine back up in space. And then from here, we're going to work forward into tabletop, hands and knees, and I'm going to turn to a side profile. I'm also going to take my blanket and spread it out. And I'm just going to use this blanket for the back part of my mat, specifically just for my knee joints when I come into a tabletop. As you come into your tabletop position, just find your palms right underneath your shoulders, find your knees right underneath your hips, and then we'll start to work into cat and cow. So if you're familiar with this, I want you just to go right into it, find it at your own pace. If this is new to you, cow is where you're dropping through your belly, it's a bow through the spine, tilting your tailbone up, lifting through your chest. And then cat is rounding your spine. Think about a Halloween cat. Mid-back goes high, tailbone slightly drops, weight of the head releases forward and down. And then what we're doing is inhaling to breathe into cow, And then on the exhales, releasing into cat. You're also welcome, if you want to just hold one of those shapes for a little bit before you move into the next, you can do that. Another popular thing that feels really good is to start to shift a little forwards and backwards as you're doing those two shapes. Or to push your hips side or your shoulders side to side. And all of this is an exploration. All of this is feeling into the body, finding those areas that we need to bring a little more relaxation into. We're slowing the movement of the body down to the movement of the breath. So another way of saying that is that slow, deep movement, or rather slow, deep breathing translates into this slow, controlled movement. Awesome, friends. Find that last round of breath here. So good for the spine. Now to turn back to face you, the next thing we'll do from tabletop is called thread the needle. So we'll start this with our right hand. So you sit your tabletop, left hand is under your shoulder. On an inhale, reach your right arm to the side of the room or twist all the way open in space. And then on an exhale, we'll dive the right arm underneath the left, finding length out through the arm, and then bringing the shoulder and the side of the head all the way down to the ground. And notice, again, the weight of my shoulder, the weight of my head is all the way down. My hips are up above my knees, and the weight of my torso is just pressing down into the head, into the arm. You can keep your left hand or forearm anywhere at your side, resting, or even pressing into the floor, pushing you back to the shoulder. Or you could draw the length of your left arm up in space, and then tuck the back of the left hand behind you to the outside of your right hip. Focus on that breathing, friends. Find those inhales, find those exhales. And what I love with this restore practice, you stay in it, I'm just going to lift up for a little bit to talk to you. What I love about this restore practice is that we really get to have time with these poses. There's an intimacy right here that you're creating just with your own body and just with your own breath. Take those last 3 rounds of breath on this thread the needle for the right arm, for the right shoulder. If your left hand is behind you, just bring the left hand back to the ground. And then everyone press your left hand underneath your shoulder. On an inhale, we'll reach the right arm from underneath, stretch and extend up tall in space, breathe in. And as you exhale, just come back down into your tabletop position. Awesome. We're going to the other side right away for the left shoulder. So right hand stays rooted under your shoulder. You can inhale your left arm to the side of the room or twist up open. On the exhale, dive your left arm underneath the right. Get the length out through it. And then again, the shoulder, outside of arm, and head are all down to the ground. You've got the hips up above the knees so that the weight of your torso is coming forward and down and gently pressing into the head and arm. Right hand or forearm is at your side, resting or pressing. Or again, you're drawing the right arm up tall in space and taking the hand back behind you, tucking it to the outside of your left hip. And then just finding that breath. You guys stay in it. I'm just going to lift up so I can talk a little bit more while you're here. Sometimes the variation that you take on one side won't necessarily work for the other side. There might be an injury that you're dealing with or just a history with one side of your body that requires something slightly different. So you can always modify as you need to adjust for that. And then over time, we're working towards bringing the two sides of our bodies into balance. All right, Last 2-3 rounds of breath on this side. Listen to the sound your breath is creating. It's a great way to, again, draw your mind into what's happening right here, into what's happening right now. So if your right hand is behind you, we're going to bring the right hand back to the ground. Everyone press into your right palm. Inhale your left arm from underneath. Reach and extend up tall in space. Breathe in. And on your exhale, just come down into your tabletop position. If you've got the blanket underneath your knees, you can slide it out of the way. We're going to come all the way flat down onto the belly for Sphinx Pose. And I'm going to show you this front view, and then I'll switch to a side profile in a moment. So tops of the feet are to the ground back behind me. Thighs are down. And then my elbows are directly underneath my shoulders. I'm rooted into the forearms and lifting up through the chest, finding length through the back of the neck. All right, here's the side profile on that one. You stay right where you're at with your head, just length through the back of the neck, chin slightly back to your throat. Or if you want to follow me on some movement for your neck, we'll gently twist the chin, the gaze over your left shoulder. And you just go as far as deep as it feels good to you. Stay with the breathing. And then at the end of an exhale, if your gaze is to the left, just twist your gaze over to the right, over across the right shoulder. And then you can bring the chin back forward. Your choice to leave the head upright or let the weight of the head just gently fall forward. We'll find a little bit of cat in the upper spine, lifting through the shoulders, weight of the head just released. You might even give your chin a little side-to-side movement here. And Sphinx Pose is brilliant for the low back, friends. Think about all the time you spend in a seated position, whether it's at the office or in your car or just at home in a chair. This gets right into that lumbar spine. Really good stretch for your abdominal wall as well on the front side. And we can definitely feel this in the mid and upper back too, not leaving those out. So, facing back towards you, we're still in Sphinx. Just walk your body over to the left edge of your mat. And then army crawl your right knee forward in space. So the inside of your right leg is down to the ground. And I love the name of this pose. This is called Passed Out Toddler Pose. So just like you watch a toddler just crashed out on the ground or on their bed, you're going to release the weight of the body down. You'll turn the left side of your head down to the ground so your gaze is to the right. I have my arms just out in front of me. You take them wherever you want. And the idea is that you're completely releasing the weight of the body here. And then with that right leg pressed down into the ground, we're getting this really gentle opening for your hips. We've got the hip hinged open. I'm kind of lifting myself up so I can face the camera and talk, but I want you completely released down and relaxed. Weight of the head totally released down. Another thing that you'll find here is that you've got part of your belly, part of your stomach connected down to the ground. So as you're doing that deep, slow breath, it's a diaphragm breath really, you'll feel the breath against the floor. The inhale gently pushing down into the ground as you fill up. And on the exhale, that gentle release down to empty. Find your breathing, friends. And check if there's anywhere where you're holding yourself up, places you can let yourself relax out a little bit deeper. Awesome. We're going to move into shoulder pigeon for your right arm. So all you need to do is extend your right leg straight back behind you. So you're basically lying down on your stomach on the left side of your mat. Reach your right arm to the right side of the room, palm face down. So the arm is 90 degrees away from your torso. And then press your left hand into the floor at your side, and we'll take a roll onto the right side. You can stack your left leg onto the right, or plant your left foot to the ground back behind your right leg. Let the weight of your head relax down. And then left hand or forearm can press at your side, helping to roll open. Or you might bring your left hand to your hip, or drop your left hand back behind you. Another option I love is finding a quadricep stretch here, where you bend, in this case, the left knee, bring the heel to the sit bone, and then reach your left hand to the top of the foot or the ankle, and then just start to engage that stretch. It might be a little bit a combination of pulling the heel towards the sit bone or reaching the knee back in space. And the great thing with all of these options, guys, you try them on. If they work for you, fantastic. If they don't, I want you to find something that does work for you. This is your body. This is your practice. It gets to look different for everybody. Again, I think that comes right back to the theme of balancing or practicing calm. Is that you're practicing being inside of your body, and it's okay to be inside of your body. It's, we're finding that acceptance and love for our bodies. Beautiful. If you're in that bind, let's just release and extend. And everybody just gently roll back down onto your stomach. And then we'll find that on the other side. So press back up to your forearms. And now walk your body over to the right side of your mat. Passed out Toddler's Pose. So just bring your left knee forward in space, army crawl it forwards. And then we're relaxing the weight of the body to the ground. Right side of the head, rest to the ground, your gaze is to the left, and your arms are anywhere you want to have them, just so you feel relaxed and you can lie down here. And again, you stay in the pose. I'm going to lift myself up so I can talk to the camera. That sensation of lying down to the ground and breathing, that has a real comforting feel to it. And so as you're here, I want you to focus on just that feeling of deep breathing with your stomach, your belly, your chest resting down towards the ground. And just that sensation in and of itself helping to create this state of calm, this state of relaxation. Find your breath. We're here for a few more rounds. Perfect. So press back up to your forearms. We're going to go into that shoulder pigeon for your left arm. Your left leg reaches all the way back behind you. And then we release all the way down to the chest. Slide the left arm, reach it to the left wall, palm face down, 90 degrees away from your torso. Press the right hand to the floor at your side, and this time roll onto your left side body. Stack your right leg onto the left, or plant your right foot to the ground behind your left leg. And then as you release the weight of your head, the left arm is just stretched out to the left wall, your palm is down. You can press your right hand into the ground at your side or rest it there, or your forearm. Or you can bring your right hand to your hip, or drop your hand back behind you. And if you took the quadricep stretch on the other side, let's find it on this side. So bend the right knee, bring your heel to the sit bone. Reach your right hand back to the top of the foot or the ankle. And then gently let your knee draw back in space and find that stretch. And again, it's kind of a combo of your hand pulling the foot in and your knee drawing back. Work with that deep breathing. Beautiful, friends. So if you're in that bind, just start to release. Everybody, roll onto your stomach. And then just center yourself on your mat. And just like you're laying out at the beach, relax your arms. I've got mine out in front of me. And then relax your chin or your forehead. You can either do it to the ground or to your hands. And then you'll bend your knees and pick your feet up in space. And just slowly roll out through your ankles. Roll out through your knees. These are kind of like windshield wiper circles. And it's going to feel super good for the low back. It'll feel really good for the ankle joints and for the knees. You can even get into your toes and the arches of your feet. We've got the stomach, we've got the chest down to the ground, so we're just feeling the rise and fall of the breath against the floor. Just relax the legs down for these last couple rounds of breath. Find your breathing. And then we'll rise up to a tabletop position. Just drop one of your hips to the ground, bring your legs forward. We'll take the rest of the class on our backs. If you've got water, this is a great time to hydrate, grab some water. And then as I come down to my back, I'm actually going to take the blanket and I'm going to open it up just a little bit like that. And I'm going to spread the blanket out for my hips and my back and my shoulders. Give myself just a little bit more cushioning. Once you relax down to the ground, just bring your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and just give yourself a gentle rock side to side. Weight of the head's totally relaxed here. Again, really good for that low back, getting into your sacrum, getting into your hips. And then we'll plant the right foot down to the ground. This is reclined pigeon figure 4. This can be for your left hip. So left ankle goes over the top of the right thigh. You have the option of leaving your right foot to the ground. If you want to elevate it a little bit, you could grab a pillow and just have your foot on the pillow. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can lift the foot off the ground and interlace your hands either around the right hamstring or around the right shin. And the right hand wraps on the outside, and the left hand goes in between the gap we've created in the legs. Find a little flexion with that left foot. Let your toes gently flex towards the shin so your heel is pointing out towards the right wall. Let your left knee gently flex forward if you like, and then you can stay still, or I'm going to do a little side-to-side movement, so feel free to join me. And similar to when the knees were into the chest, that side-to-side movement just gives us some really nice massaging and feel for the low back and for the hips. Use your breath, relax the weight of your head. Right, those last couple rounds of breath. Just taking your time. And then lengthen your right leg all the way out in front of you. And then you'll take your hands around your left shin, kind of close up to your knee. And start to draw your left knee up to your left shoulder on the outside of your rib cage. I'm going to switch so that my feet are facing you. So again, right leg's extended out in front of you. you're laying down, and you've got that left knee hugged up towards your left shoulder on the outside of your body. From here, we'll create a spinal twist. So your right hand pulls your left knee down over the right. Your body rolls onto the outside edge of your right hip. Left arm reaches to the left, and your gaze goes across your fingertips. If you want, you can grab your pillow, and then you can place the pillow underneath your left leg, so your knee is resting onto it, inside the calf, inside the ankle is resting onto it. And then again, head is relaxed, gaze is over to the left, and just the slow, deep breath we've been talking about. Inside of the spinal twist, really just letting the breath snake its way through the spine here. Again, notice if there's any areas you're holding on to tension. We just want to release those areas. And then you'll just gently roll onto your back. I'm going to switch back to a side profile here. Knees back in towards your chest. Just giving yourself a little rock side to side. We'll switch up the sides of reclined and pigeon. So this time your left foot will plant down to the ground, your knee is up in space. Then simply cross your right ankle over the top of the left knee, or over the top of the thigh. You can leave the left foot to the ground or place that pillow underneath it. Or you're lifting the knee off, the foot off the ground, and then interlacing your hands around the hamstring or the shin and drawing the left knee in. Find that flexion in your right foot, toes back to your shin, heel pointing over to the left wall. Let your knee just maybe gently flex forward, and then you stay still or just create that gentle side to side rocking. Again, weight of the head, just relaxed out here. Beautiful breathing. All right, so when you're ready, we're just going to stretch the left leg all the way out in front of us, and then hug the right knee to your right shoulder on the outside of the right rib cage. Hands just right around the shin. I'm going to switch back so I'm facing up towards the front of the room here. Left leg all the way out in front, right knee up to your shoulder, and then we're ready to create that spinal twist. So left hand grabs the right knee and just pulls the knee down over to the right. Your body rolls onto the outside edge of your left hip. If you had the pillow underneath the leg on the other side, just switch it to this side so that your knee, calf, ankle are resting into it. And then relax your head, relax your back, reach your right arm to the right wall. Just let your gaze twist over to the right side of the room. So you've got that twist from the tailbone going all the way up to the crown of the head. You'll feel when those exhales roll in, your body just naturally relaxes a little bit deeper into this. Just taking your time to breathe. How chill is that? You're doing great. We're just on those last couple rounds of breath on this side. So when you're feeling balanced and complete, turn back to the side profile. Just bring your knees to your chest, wrap your arms around your knees, and give yourself a little rock side to side. Another one that can feel fantastic here is Happy Baby. You can take your peace sign fingers to your big toes or the hands to the edges of your feet. Your knees open up wide. Your arms are on the inside of the legs. And then we're stacking the ankles above the knees so the bottoms of the feet are pointing up in space. Weight of head and back are released. And you're gently pulling the hands down on the feet, so you're pulling down on the frame, and you're bringing the hips close into the floor and just giving that gentle rock side to side. And just stay with your breathing. Excellent. Release the feet down to the ground. Your knees are pointed up in space and your feet are at hip bone distance. Take your arms and reach them down along your sides and step your heels back into you until your fingertips can brush the heels. That's going to assure that your ankles are stacked right underneath your knees. Have your tailbone planted to the ground so your hips are rocked forward. You'll feel an arch in your low back. On your inhales, vertebrae by vertebrae, peel the hips off the ground, reaching up into bridge pose, pressing down into your triceps perhaps. And on your exhales, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll the hips back down into the ground until they land, rock forward, tailbone plants, arches in your low back. Okay, take this over at your own pace. On the inhales, as you reach the hips up, you might reach your arms back overhead behind you. And on the exhales, as you roll your hips back down to the ground, you might release your arms back down into the floor at your sides. Slow and control, just getting to work through the vertebrae on your spine one at a time. Take one more of these. And then when your hips land down, you'll grab your pillow, and we're just going to slide the edge of the pillow underneath the hips. Or most of the pillow underneath your hips. And then with the hips propped up, just take your legs straight up in space. And just gently roll out through your ankles. Maybe at times you're reaching through your heels or the balls of the feet are up through your toes. You can leave your arms relaxed, or With your head relaxed, you can reach your arms up in space, and the same thing with your ankle, or you're doing with your ankles, you can do with your wrists, that you're doing with your toes, you can do with your fingers. You can also, if you want from here, open your legs up. I'm sliding my hands to the outside of my thighs, elbows are relaxing to the ground, and just letting the legs open wide. Some folks will pull down on the inside of the legs to give a little bit more of a deeper stretch. Awesome. If your legs are out wide, just reach back up tall. Getting the heart up, or the feet up above the heart for a little bit here, allowing the blood to get pumped all the way up into the feet. Then when you're ready, we're going to come into Reclined Cobblers Pose with that pillow underneath the hips. So bottoms of the feet are together, knees go out wide. And you can experiment. Maybe it feels nice to slide the pillow kind of further down or shift it a little bit back in space. But ultimately just relaxing your arms, relaxing your knees, relaxing your feet. Feeling into the last couple rounds of breath that we're going to control. And friends, we're ready for our final resting pose, our corpse pose, Shavasana. So that pillow might feel fantastic where it is underneath your hips, and it might be a matter of just extending your legs and your arms at your sides. If you need any more warmth, rather than the blanket being underneath your body, it could go over your body. And then a couple more options with the pillow. You could slide it so that it's underneath your knees, and that could feel really good. It can feel really great for the low back. Or last option I'll throw out is that you could use the pillow for what we all use pillows for. You just slide it back behind your head and just release the weight of the head to the ground. I'm going to bring myself upright, but I want you just to stay down in that corpse pose, that Shavasana. Just relaxing the weight of the body. If your eyes are open, just close through your eyes. And if you're controlling your breath, I invite you just to release the control of your breath and just to let your body take back over on the breathing. I'm going to lead you through a body scan here. And inside of this body scan, what we're working on is just awareness. And we're working on non-judgmental awareness. We are observing. In meditation, in mindfulness, there's a term that I love that's called the seat of the observer. And when we take our consciousness to the seat of the observer, we have the ability to observe the physical body. We have the ability to observe the emotional state that we're in. We also have the ability to observe our mind and our thoughts. So from this place of the observer, I want you to start to take your awareness, your mind's eye, all the way down into the toes, all the way down into the tips of the toes. And just noticing. Sometimes there'll be a little slight pulsation you'll feel, or sometimes there's nothing you feel, and that's okay too. Start to move into the bottoms of the feet, the arches, and the bottom of your heel. And then take that awareness and move into the edges of your feet. Move into the back of your heel, the tops of your feet, the tops of the toes, the knuckles, the fingernails, or the toenails rather. Then move your awareness up to your ankles, so move up into the Achilles heels, the edges of your ankles. Just noticing anything. And take your awareness and now start to slide it up the front of your shin bones from the ankles coming all the way right up below your knees. And notice the outside of the lower legs, the outside of the calf muscles. And take the awareness to the inside of the lower legs, inside of calf muscles. And then to the back of the legs, from the Achilles tendon coming all the way up to the calves. Noticing. Bring that awareness up into your knees. So feeling the tops of the knees, the sides of the knees, and the bottoms of the knees. From the knee joints, we start to bring the awareness to the upper legs. And we'll start with the top of the upper legs, the muscles of the thighs that work all the way from the knee joints, stretch all the way and connect up into your hips. Even a lack of sensation is still noticing. Let's go to the outside of the upper legs, so the outside of the calf, the outside of the thigh muscles, working right into the hamstrings. Take the awareness to the inside of the thighs, inside of the upper legs. And then the back of your upper legs, the hamstrings, working all the way and connecting from the knee joints and starting to wrap all the way back up into the glutes. For a moment, we'll just zoom out and take the awareness from the upper legs all the way down to your toes, and in your mind's eye, holding that awareness all the way from the hips to the bottom of the feet. Take your awareness, your mind's eye, into the pelvis. Feel the hips just resting down to the ground. And the back side of the hips, pelvis, coming all the way to the sides, and then right into the belly. Noticing the belly, maybe even feeling the rise and fall of your breath in the belly. Start to take your awareness into your lower back. Relaxing towards the earth. And then to your side bodies, to your obliques. Bring the awareness towards the fronts of the abdominal wall, working all the way just right up to the bottom of the sternum and the lower rib cage, right where your diaphragm is, and maybe feeling as you are noticing the diaphragm working through the breath. Bring your awareness to your upper back, to your shoulders, just relaxed, heavy to the ground. And as you start to work to the sides of the upper torso, we start to work into the rib cage, and then we can bring the awareness to the front of the torso, to the full rib cage. And encased in the rib cage, of course, we have a lot of these vital organs. You have the lungs pumping, working. You have the heart pumping the blood through the body. See if you can notice the beat of your heart, the pump of the heart, and the working of the lungs. Start to take that awareness down into your arms, the biceps and triceps. Noticing the elbows relax. Bring your awareness into your forearms, the bellies of the forearms, the outsides of the forearms, the tops of the forearms. Notice your wrists, just relaxed and heavy. Bring in awareness. Take it down into your hands, the circle of your palm. The fingers, the back of your hands, your knuckles, fingernails, just relax. Then we'll take that awareness and bring it all the way back up to the tops of the shoulders and start to move into the neck. Noticing the front of your neck, the Adam's apple, the throat, any sensation. Noticing the sides of your neck, and the back of the neck. Muscles just relaxed, heavy to the ground. As you start to move into the head, just start by moving up the back of the neck and start to work into the base of the skull. Start to work up to the crown of the head. And bring the awareness into the sides of the head, your ears. As we come to the front of the head to our face, we're coming into a lot of nerve endings, a lot of sensation. Start up at the forehead, feel the brow. Just relax. Take your awareness to your eyes. So your eyelids, the eyeballs themselves, resting. Take your awareness to your cheekbones and to your nose. And to your lips, the teeth, the mouth, the tongue. Just feeling the jaw relaxed out, chin release. Let go of any specific part of the body and start to zoom out to the entire body as a whole. The breathing body, the front of the body, the back of the body, the sides of the body. Feeling gravity just pulling you down, holding you down, supporting you against the floor. Slowly start to bring life into your fingers, into your toes, wiggling, moving. Start to deepen your breath. And then stretch your arms all the way back overhead behind you, just to a full morning stretch. Roll out your ankles, roll out your wrists. And then roll onto your side into a fetal position. Just relaxing. You can use your outstretched arm as a pillow for your head. Keeping your eyes closed, press your hands to the ground and bring yourself up to a cross-legged position facing up towards the top of your mat, or any pose that you'd like to end your experience with. If you're choosing a cross-legged position, again, let's find the front edge of the sit bones, pulling the flesh away or walking back. If you were on the back edge of your sit bones, it would look like you were huddled around a fire, cold, keeping yourself warm. But from the front edge of the sit bones, we can inhale the shoulder heads up high, and on the exhale, roll the shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back, finding the full length of the spine. Friends, take your hands together and bring the palms in towards the heart center so your thumbs are just pressed back towards your sternum. Weight of the head can release down towards the hands. And then we get to end this experience with this beautiful greeting. And there's a number of different translations for it. But one of the simplest is I salute you. Namaste.